All right, going to be taking a look at ICLD. The stock is really highly requested over here, quite a bit. I mean, not just right now during our live stream on investorshangout.com/live, but as a whole. I mean, I've had so many people requesting for us to take a look at this one. Um, what I'm seeing here, let me zoom out and pay attention to what we've said in the past. On 428, the last time that we've looked at this stock is 0260. I said watch resistance at 0264, 0277, and 0308. Support at 0250 is a must hold coming back into the past. And that is going to be putting us back over here. If I can bring in that 428 as well. Right here, you guys did have that support line, which ironically enough is running right here on the 20-day simple moving average, fairly close. Ended up breaking through there for the first time, really starting to touch it down on May 8th. And then you guys started having a nice move. I mean, this right here, this was a beautiful move coming up to the earnings on the 11th and 12th of May, getting pretty darn close to that breakout of 3 cents. 308 is where I actually had that previous support resistance, and it got to the high of 0313. All right, but unfortunately couldn't do it. The next day followed up with 32 million shares being traded off that average volume of 7 million for the last 20 days. Push this thing back down to that support. Solid support right now. We hope that will hold at 2 cents. If we come back in here, we even had a lower one of 1 cent. And that was back in March 1st. All right, coming back in a little bit more. I just want to see. Okay, so if it breaks through that 2 cent mark, you guys could definitely go down to a penny. But I was a little concerned at first because I didn't see this drop. Meaning, if this is the do or die 02, if it doesn't hold, it's gonna fall apart. But it did fall down there back and over here, and ended up bouncing off there fairly nicely. So what we're gonna be watching for right now, my personal opinion, is gonna be for that 02 to hold. I would definitely want to see a break of 0260 to turn this one bullish. A break of 03 would send this one off for a run. But the big thing, guys, honestly, volume. The volume has really been dropping off here. As far as the chart, I think things are stable here. In my personal opinion, with that fluctuation, I mean, pretty steady between the 02 and 03 for quite some time, since March. So I would like to know what you guys think right now in the live stream. All you guys that are watching, I mean, there's 500 people watching right now. You guys are the ones that really. Joe, could you talk about some of the new PRs that came out for ICLD?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them, and I know just from looking at your chart over here, we've gone over this one a lot. I mean, in regards to me, we go through so many different tickers that it's tough for me to remember all of them. And like as if when I was investing, I'd basically pay attention to that particular company and research the shit out of it. Whereas we're going through hundreds of different companies for like 5 minutes, and that's it. Moving on to the next one. So with this one right here, I mean, there's obviously a lot of different things going on. So I'm just going to go back to this May 8th thing right here. Well, actually, it goes right here. April 27th, it said they had a press release that said InterCloud continues business realignment with the sale of AW Solutions. And then, fast forward to May 8th, it was InterCloud Systems files lawsuit against former auditor Grant Thornton as company seeks to redress damages caused company and its shareholders. So I pulled that one up right there because obviously that was intriguing to me. And it states that InterCloud Systems Incorporated on May 8th announced the filing of a lawsuit against Grant Thornton in New York Supreme Court for breach of contract as well as fraudulent inducement in connection with their engagement as the auditors of the company in 2015. So Mark Monroe, CEO of InterCloud, stated, "It is the company's position that Grant Thornton breached its obligations to the company, and as a result thereof was a domino effect, which included the delisting of InterCloud from the NASDAQ. The company and its shareholders have been damaged by Grant Thornton's conduct, and redress is being sought accordingly." So that's right there from the May 8th. And then let's see, May 12th, they had their first quarter 2017 results. So let's see, their InterCloud Systems reports the first quarter 2017 results. And with their bullet points, they said the cost cutting continues as ICLD focuses on core business units. Salaries and wages declined 20%. Selling, general, and administrative expenses declined 10%. So obviously they're getting their checkbook in tow, I guess. So this I'm just going to read the first paragraph rather than go really into it because there's obviously more on it. So InterCloud Systems Incorporated, a leading provider of cloud networking, orchestration, and automation solutions and services, on May 12th reported its financial results for the first quarter of 2017. So Mark Monroe, Chairman and CEO of InterCloud, stated InterCloud continues to restructure. During the first quarter of 2017, the company reduced senior secured debt by approximately $4.2 million and reduced subordinated debt by $4.1 million for a total quarterly debt reduction of more than $8.3 million. Although our revenues declined during the quarter, while we restructured, we substantially reduced our operating expenses as salaries and wages were reduced by 20% and our SG&A declined by approximately 10%. We will continue to focus on cutting costs, selling non-core assets, and becoming a smaller but cash flow positive company. So their first quarter financial highlights: revenue for the first quarter ended March 31st, 2017 declined 21% to $14 million compared to $17.6 million for 2016. This was a result of a decline in management services business segment offset by a small increase in our application and infrastructure segment. So gross profit was 24% for the quarter ended March 31st, 2017 and 25% for 2016. Gross profit declined slightly to $3.4 million compared to $4.4 million in 2016. Decreases in gross profit in our management services segment were offset by increases in our application and infrastructure segment. The gross profit percentage in the management services and application and infrastructure segments were 21% and 27%, respectively, for the quarters ended March 31st, 2017 and 2016. So the company had a net loss attributed to common stockholders of $14.2 million for the quarter ended March 31st, 2017, compared to a net loss of $4.3 million for the comparable period 2016. The increase in net loss during the quarter ended March 31st compared to the comparable period of 2016 resulted from a goodwill and intangible asset impairment charges of $3.9 million in 2017 compared to no charges in 2016. Additionally, the increase resulted from an increase in the change in value of derivative instruments of $5.3 million. Offsetting this increase, salaries and wages and selling, general and administrative expenses declined $1.2 million in the first quarter of 2017 compared to 2016. Salaries and wages includes non-cash stock compensation expenses of $0.5 million for the quarter ended March 31st compared to $0.7 for the comparable of 2016. All right, so I didn't realize I just ended up reading that whole thing. Alrighty. All right, so then they had a press release as well on the 17th, and it said InterCloud sells its training division for $1.4 million and disposition of $215,000 to net accrued liabilities. So I'll just read the first paragraph, like literally. All right, so the company's training division provided professional services focused on education and training in the network arena. The asset was originally acquired by InterCloud in 2016 for $1 million in common stock. Under the terms of the asset sale, InterCloud received $1.4 million in cash, additional working capital adjustment, and an elimination of approximately $215,000 in net accrued liabilities. So Mark Monroe, the CEO, stated that the sale of this non-core business asset is a continued realignment of InterCloud's business strategy and reduction. All right. All right. So there's obviously,
I'm just busting you, man.
What we have here, in my opinion, is just we have a company that was on the NASDAQ that, obviously went through some things and, they're suing their auditors. There's obviously more to it. And this one right here requires due diligence. Because, I mean, obviously they bring in revenue, but yet there's revenues down. And I would be researching it is what it comes down to. I mean, I don't know, anything could happen, really. You know how that goes. So if you want to continue doing that due diligence, just go right over to the ICLD board. From there, you'll see the company profile, the time it sales, the recent news, the filings, the financials, the buy rating. And if you have an opinion or more due diligence than me looking at it for the last 5 minutes, feel free to share it on the message board with the tens of thousands of like-minded investors that we have using the site daily.
All right, guys. Obviously, that was a lot of information that Joe went through. And if you follow the stock, obviously, that would probably help you. But with that being said, over here with the recent news that we're looking at, again, all you got to do is click on those headlines and it pop out right in front of you for each individual press release. Now, remember, as I always say, this isn't just for ICLD. This is for all the stocks, all publicly traded companies that you can think of are going to be right here for the most part. Let me make sure that's clarified. But it's really helpful by many things, and especially the time and sales. Again, I talk about this one all the time. Time and sales, where you can see the exact time, price, and volume for each trade going back the last 30 days. Well, going back the last 30 days, you can see a lot of stuff. And, if you don't have a level 2, I remember back when I first started trading, I didn't have a level 2 to go off of. I worked all day, but to come home and to look at these tapes, I felt, I had a lot of enjoyment for that. To go back and say, oh, okay, here's each trade, especially for the 000 stocks. It was definitely cool to see. But with that being said, we're going to jump right back into this chart. And what I put on here is 0222, resistance at 0260. That's going to be following up over here on the 30-day simple moving average. You're going to have a little bit at that 0250 as well. Most importantly, 0260 is going to be that 1 point. All right, and support is 02 and 01. A break of 0260 would be bullish, and a break of 03 could spike a run. Okay, don't get too excited until it breaks that, but a close above 03 could really fire something off here, depending if everything else sets up. But if you watch this one and it breaks at 0260, leave us a comment below and say, hey, it just broke that point. We take a look at it again. We will. You guys know the deal. All right, with that being said, ICLD, if you follow the stock, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We'd appreciate that very much. And get out there and share this video with all other investors on different social networks, stock message boards, and stock forums. That would be great. If you'd like to participate in our next live show, you can do so at investorshangout.com/live.